Hello, this is Pamela, the Divorce Mystic. I'm an over 25-year intuitive divorce attorney, mediator, and coach who's integrated a spiritual practice into my business. And today we're moving forward with the Chakras and Divorce Series, specifically part 4 today, dealing with the Heart Chakra. We know that the Heart Chakra sits at the center of our chest. It's associated with the color green and the element of air. The Heart Chakra is the center of our healing, our soul's destiny. It governs the way we have an innate ability to have an understanding for others, how we can show respect or how we show respect to others, how we, when our heart chakra is balanced, we feel harmonious with others. We don't feel separate from them. We have an understanding or an awareness that we're all connected in some way. Regardless of whether or not we can consciously feel that in the moment, we have an inner knowing that we are connected and that we can somehow step into the shoes, even just in our mind, of the other person that we're dealing with and feel them and understand them and learn about them just from that connection. When we are imbalanced, we're unable to feel connected. So therefore we feel separate. Somebody has something that we don't. So it may be, depending on how we're feeling, if we're feeling a sense of lack and we're in balance, we may feel jealous, we may feel envious, we may feel separate, we may have a inability to be intimate or to accept intimacy, to give intimacy, to be honest, to accept honesty, just that giving and receiving transaction. If we think of the heart is that anchor, that bridge between our lower chakras and our higher chakras. So those things that we bring in, or those things that come to us from our higher self, that is the place that it gathers. And when we're balanced here, everything just flows. Our physical walk on this earth and the decisions that we have to make are in line with our ability to do things from a higher perspective, see things from a higher perspective, and our life is harmonious. We feel harmonious. We feel harmonious with others. We feel harmonious with ourselves. There is a balance that's present and prevalent in our lives. So in the event of a divorce, when we're specifically dealing with an imbalanced heart chakra, that person in that space is feeling detached, right? They're detached from their higher self. So they have zero connection with their higher knowing, their higher learning, their guides, whomever it is that they seek help from. They have a detachment from their higher truth. So they don't necessarily understand at that moment that they're just a spirit having a human experience in this vehicle, in this body. And both parties, spouses, are playing roles that all generated from a space of unconditional love, from divine love. That whatever their particular soul journey was together as a couple in this particular lifetime, that it was divinely guided. But at the time of a divorce, when there is no connection, there is a complete imbalance. There's a complete detachment from that truth. They don't see the higher soul family. They don't see the truth of their own soul's journey, what they intended to learn from or to share or to teach in this particular union. They're isolated. They feel isolated. They're unable to manage this challenge of divorce from a place of love. They can't do it because they're disconnected. That heart center, the word heart center, that is the place that we find that love, that compassion, that understanding, that place of forgiveness, that place that we connect to reach our higher self, to reach those that we call on, whoever that is for you, for help and for guidance and understanding, and to be with us and to help us through particular challenges of our life. When that's broken or the door is shut and nothing can get through, nothing can penetrate through. The act of forgiveness is not there. The act of understanding is not there. What becomes highlighted is defensiveness, fear. I'm afraid that someone's going to hurt me. I'm afraid that I don't just become defensive, I become overly defensive because I know I don't feel that sense of security that I normally feel, that natural sense of protection, that we're protected. And I don't feel that connectedness. So if I'm feeling isolated, those people who are in this position, they feel isolated. They don't feel protected. They feel that everything's out to get them. And so therefore their defenses are very, very high. So they are not ripe at that moment or during that particular time frame to be involved in settlement discussions that are going to have a long-term effect on their future and the future of their family. They're unable to see, using the phrase, the forest through the trees. They are truly unable to see the forest through the trees because any ability to see that far ahead is blocked. Any ability to push aside their feeling of anger, whatever it is that they have for their spouse, sadness, it could be anger, it could be a sense of betrayal, whatever it is, to put that aside long enough to be able to focus on what they need in terms of their future and these provisions of the agreement that they're looking at that's going to dictate what happens in the future. The writing in those settlement agreements, people throw around the word settlement agreement or property settlement agreement, but they don't realize that each provision in that agreement is enforceable, it's for a purpose, and it acts to control your life. So when you're agreeing to something in a settlement agreement, it has to resonate with you. It has to make sense to you. But just logically knowing that when there is a divorce or a separation that leads to a divorce, and there is a separation agreement that deals with dividing of assets, income, support matters, co-parenting and parenting plans, there's going to be compromise. So when you're in that space of a balanced heart chakra, again, the ability to step into the shoes of the other party, as the example, dealing with a co-parenting situation, or stepping into the shoes of your young children if you have them, in terms of how that practicality or reality will feel like and work for them long term. So each step of the way in those agreements, it's truly important. Each provision is thought about and each decision is made with clarity. And a little walkthrough is, what's the reality of this? How is this going to feel when I'm actually living this particular provision? The idea that the heart chakra is blocked. The other tragedy that happens in a situation where someone doesn't want the divorce and they have a blocked heart chakra, they have a desire to be the savior for the other person, their spouse. They have a desire. It's a martyrdom syndrome. It's, I have to save them. So I'm going to go over and above anything that these professionals tell me that the law would allow, beyond out of the box thinking. It's to my detriment. I am going to show this person that I am a martyr. I'm going to completely take care of things that would be unexpected so that you think highly of me. The other way is to stay very stuck in the idea of being a victim. Most people, when you use the word, you're being a victim, we use it sarcastically. But sitting in that seat in the middle of a divorce negotiation and you're feeling betrayed or you're feeling angry at something, you don't really want the divorce. It's not what you had in mind. It's not what you planned. when you thought of your life in the future, when you said, I do, you're sitting at that moment and your heart is imbalanced. Your heart chakra is imbalanced. You do feel like a victim. There's no other word for it. You got to remember that the words that we choose to define certain things, sometimes there are no words. So that feeling, though, of being a victim is heightened when there's no balance in your heart chakra, because that ability to forgive, that ability to understand the other person, the ability to know that you're going to be okay, the ability to pull in your higher learning and your higher knowing to say, what was the intention of this union to begin with? Why did we join together? What was the purpose? What is the higher purpose of the soul contract between me and my spouse? The larger family, is there something here I need to know? I need to have an understanding so that I can move on, so that I can reach that place of forgiveness from my human shoes. It's one thing to forgive from our spiritual higher knowing when we're in a nice meditation and it feels good and we are open and susceptible and vulnerable to surrender, than it is when we're sitting in our human shoes feeling all of those human emotions that we have an inability to process at the time because we have an imbalance in our system or we're blocked in some way. So for your benefit, if you're in the middle of a divorce, starting the process, if you're in the middle of a process, make sure that you do what you need to do to check yourself in terms of your own energetic alignment. Yes, all of the chakras matter. So by the time we get to 7, you'll know the quick movement up through the chakras that you can do this yourself. But specifically for your heart chakra, it doesn't take much, because if you just hold your hand on your heart, you'll feel. If I ask to connect with you, I can't see you. I don't know who's listening to this right now, but I am connected to you. I can feel you because I've asked for that ability to do that right now so that you can see in real life, in 2 seconds, how your heart is the communicator. Your heart extends and has the ability to make everything that's wrong right. It has the ability to pull in what you need to facilitate a settlement agreement, to make sure that your children receive co-parenting that is from a place of higher knowing, from a place that fulfills their own soul contract, that you can walk away with a settlement agreement that truly meets your terms, that meets your family's needs. That when somebody like me says, your family is still a family, even if you divorce, right? The bonds of matrimony are terminated, but that sense of a family, mom, dad, children, that one home that one house that's disrupted in a divorce becomes 2 lovely homes that are connected, right? Just like our heart is the bridge to our lower and our higher self. Your co-parenting style, your co-parenting agreement, and the way you interact together is that bridge, right, between those 2 homes for your children. So wherever they are, if they're over here or they're over here, they feel that sense of unity. They feel that bond of family. Another thing for the heart chakra, when there is a divorce and we really want support, we run to our family and our friends. We're looking for somebody to take sides, help me through this, be my supporter, take my side. I implore you not to do that. I ask that you consider speaking to your friends, speaking to your parents, speaking to whomever it is that brings you comfort and safety, the feeling of protection and safety. But put up an energetic field where the idea of them taking sides takes place. Do not allow it. Do not allow it. If there's nothing more powerful that can block that heart chakra than for you to allow other people to have a say or a voice in your family, in your family's transition. If there's things such as abuse, or you're afraid, that's a different conversation. But if you allow your friends to hurt your process in terms of feeding you that negativity, that it does nothing but block your heart. It doesn't help open your heart. It doesn't help open you up to a process. It doesn't help open you up to understanding in that moment that these friends and the parents and your spouse's parents, if they're here, whoever is in part of your life right now will still be a part of your life going forward, particularly if you have children, you're going to co-parent. My friend, maybe my friend still, but my friend needs to respect my child's spouse, do they not? So you are starting at that moment to speak from your heart and say, I love you, I want your support, but what I really need from you is for you to support us as a team, as a family that's in transition. Give us your love, give us your kindness, give us your wisdom if you have any. Otherwise, don't say anything at all. Just provide love. Just provide support. If I need something from you, I'll ask it. But don't let them feed your soul with all of the human negativity that is typically found in a divorce where we allow sides. Because those parties that don't allow that, and they allow their friends and family in on the truth of what's happening, and they ask for their support moving forward so that everybody feels safe and supported. And the foundation, although it's crumbling in terms of the marriage, it's not crumbling in terms of life in general. And everything is imploded because of this divorce. So I repeat to you, your heart chakra is very valuable in terms of getting you through the process from a place of love and understanding and balance and what your future is going to look like going forward. It's going to help you navigate the human side of this and understand what the higher purpose of your marriage was, and be able to honor the soul-to-soul relationship that you have with your spouse, even though the human marriage may be over. If there's children, that's even more important, to be able to give that understanding, give that forgiveness, not just for them, but for yourself as well, but to be able to give that forgiveness no matter what's happened, so that you are the appropriate role models for your children who can show love, who can show forgiveness, what it's like to forgive, what it's like to not necessarily like someone's behavior or what they did, but how you move through it gracefully and peacefully and in a loving way is only going to show them what's possible. And if we are truly moving in to a new world and we're designing it ourselves, the way you design your family going forward, think of that from a macro standpoint, if everybody did that. So you've got this. Keep your eyes on the prize in your heart. Do what you have to do for you in terms of keeping yourself aligned so that you can make clear decisions and that you can do what's right for you and your family. Again, whether it's just a simple meditation of going into your heart, once you're there, if you did what I did for you and say, I want to feel from my higher self what connection with my spouse needs to be there right now through all of this human drama, you'll do exactly what I did, and you'll feel exactly what I felt. A sense of connection, not a sense of separation. So if I could do this for you, just to show you, to give you a taste of what life is like during a divorce process when we're dealing with it from our higher self, if we're dealing with it from a place of alignment, where all of our chakras are aligned, and we truly are walking through controlling the human drama, but being enlightened and guided by our higher divine self. It can happen for you. You've got this. And I look forward to meeting you in part 5, where we start dealing at that point with the throat chakra. Until we meet again, my friend, you're beautiful. You have this. Namaste.